in the highest level. Now, when it comes to time, let's dig on time. Let's just say we decided to prospect in, let's call it 1 hour for now. Where do you see the value, the disadvantage, and the advantage?
I think that depends because if the list is narrowed down towards the really targeted ones, I think that 1 hour a day would be enough to cover up, and then maybe kind of do some follow ups along the way. So
Okay.
yeah,
What else? What else?
yeah. But on the other side, if the list is big, like if we have a big kind of database of uh, prospects that you want to tap into, I think that's where the time is matter. Like the time matters. Like the allocated time would matter because we'd rather have um, other ambassadors to help us or associates to help us doing the calls instead of just us to maximize the coverage of of those leads being contacted as soon as possible.
Okay. So again, now we went on time, I want to make sure say one thing about time that I've heard that some of the value is they either one is measurable, right? And the reason I time, they also mention, if you're busy, you got a lot going on in your life, right? Like, if you choose to do a lot, right?
Yeah,
And there's only so much time that one has, right? So that's where that comes in, right? So if your time is scarce, for lack of a better word, if you are very well uh, detailed, time oriented person, right, where time is money, or time is valuable than money, right? So you know, if we say time is more valuable than money, would you agree with that?
correct. Yeah,
So therefore, how do we learn to maximize the time that we are calling, and for what purpose per se, right? So let's just say a person might have, myself, let's just say I want to spend 4 hours a day. Doing that 4 hours is prospecting, follow up, meeting, lunch. So the first, let's call it the first 4 or 5 hours of my day should be all those. Then that's it. And then I can be present for my family, for other areas of my life that's important to me. My kids, my social circle, mentorship, education, spiritual life, right? You see where I'm going with this,
yeah,
Breno? So I wanted to be very careful because I have not really dissected as much because I didn't take many notes on this. In certain arena in the world, like the Philippines, India, even in some areas and in a lot of South Asian countries, the mindset is different of someone who's prospecting. What I'm saying is, when people prospect, sometimes it's very depressing when you do not have a positive outcome, right? I don't know about, maybe not so much. Like I said, I know in America, it brings people down when you call 100 people, everybody hung up on you.
yeah, and because of the number of rejections that you've got. So
That's
yeah,
correct. That's correct. That's correct. So that's where I want to go to. The rejection, the human mind doesn't do well with it for the most part. I don't know, some countries, like I said, some areas, some other people are bred differently, and they understand for every no, they're getting closer to their yes. Understandable. I get that. But in the arena of disappointment, right?
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, out of those, which one do you think when the day is over that has less impact on how one's feel about their efforts, out of length of time, number of calls for results, number of contacts, and number of scheduled appointment.
Sorry, can you repeat that? What's the
So
question then?
out of the four,
Hmm.
which one leaves one with the least amount of discomfort or lack of accomplishment or feeling bad that the day was not a success? Out of those four, did you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So out of those four, which one you think will leave a person feeling much better at the end of the day? Meaning better means, okay, win or lose, they've accomplished their task and they can walk away feeling like they've accomplished something.
Yeah. I would still go with the numbers of calls conducted for that one.
Okay.
Yeah. There were
So number of calls.
Yeah.
Why?
There was a study, and there has been an implementation for other sales teams um, in the U.S. as well, where focusing on that, um, not just kind of alleviate that deep impact of rejection towards the prospect list that they've called, but it also helps the sales team to focus more on getting used to the rejection, because their aim was to do the certain um, target of calls conducted, and not really to kind of being pressured a lot to 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 book an appointment to close the sale. And of course that's the part, and they also have the script that they had to follow, but since the focus was realigned towards getting to that number, like a certain amount, they set up a amount of calls that must be conducted by 12. So by noon, um, they've set a number of calls that they ought to be conducted, and by noon, the 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 sales associate that has the most call conducted at the end of that um, half a day will be rewarded. So they set a reward system where the one that have fulfilled the most of the calls will be rewarded because of that. That way, they kind of being trained to get used to the rejections that are common for the prospect list. But at the same time, it also kind of beats the probability, because the probability of someone being able to handle that set of calls, it couldn't be kind of the probability of missing an appointment is it's always like there's a big upside there, because of the amount of calls that has been conducted would always amounts to at least certain results coming from that. So
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So then the number, then we have to gauge what that number of call means, right? Because some calls, and let's just say you have, so you can go. So I agree with that. So then the study has been done. So therefore, if you only have, let's just say we only have 1 hour to make calls. Now you can get on a call, and the call lasts longer than the next, right?
mhm.
And so and then now you go overflow. Now you don't have time to make that certain amount of call, right? So there's always going to be something right going on. So in that case, then you would figure out what is a reasonable amount of calls then, or do you figure out, okay, if this many calls are made, do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it for me with my time. I've done a lot of calls. Some calls have taken a long time, right?
Yeah.
If you get 3, 4 customers you're talking to, now all of a sudden you go from 50 calls, you only on your 10th.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Freno, I know it's getting late. I gotta go. I'm jumping on lunch with with the family. So I'm gonna take that. So think about that with someone with a limited amount of time per se. If
Yeah.
we're going by the idea that time is valuable. So I see where you're going and I understand that and I agree with you. But I'm looking at the calls that I personally have made. When I make a contact, then I'm on that call. So I don't pass that call to somebody else. I'm also the guy prospecting. I'm also the guy closing.
Yeah.
So, so I is there as that came. Let me get to lunch, and then maybe let's pick this up tomorrow because in case you might have to leave.
Sure. Yeah.
Put a note that we need to continue this conversation, and then I'm gonna follow up as well.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you. Mhm. Bye. Good day.
What he do is he try to smile. That's nerdy. He nerdy. He try to smile his way out of it. Nervous. He be trembling. Y'all got me. Look, y'all think I'm about to lose the Manny Pacquiao, man. I'm about to beat his ass some God.